is everybody today? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for stopping by. I am excited. I know I say that about every single video, but I am actually very excited about this one because I am getting ready to, spruce up my porch and my patio, my deck, and get my gardens going because it is finally getting warm enough here to do that. In fact, I don't know, I say that and it is so dreary outside right now. We have just had so much cold weather here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm a little bit over it. I'm ready for some sunshine, but I'm going to hopefully get some gardens going this weekend. But as for today's project, we are going to make some lanterns. I have been wanting some lanterns really bad for my deck and for my front porch. So I started looking at them and just pricing them. And y'all, for lanterns that are like 4 feet and 3 feet tall, they are so crazy expensive, and it just was not in the budget this time around. So I got this crazy idea, maybe I could just make my own. So I set out to try. I really did, but I'm not a woodworker, y'all. I'm just not. I'm gonna be straight up honest. It's just not my thing, and so I had to call in reinforcements. I had to have Michael come out and help me, but I did give it my best shot, which you'll see coming up as we head out to the shop and start making some lanterns together. But Michael is always such a good sport. In fact, he just recently told me, he said, you know, honey, I really, really love making woodworking projects for you, and so when I try to do it myself, I think it hurts his feelings just a little bit. So it's a good thing that he loves me and loves woodworking so much. So without further ado, let's head out into the shop and start building some lanterns. Okay, y'all, here is my inspiration piece. I knew I wanted some really tall lanterns for my outdoor decor, but when I started pricing them, yikes, this one was 43 inches tall for $349. What the what? I think we can build our own way cheaper. So we'll start by cutting all the pieces, and I want 3 of these, so there are a lot of pieces to cut. Then here I'm just using a router to add a little detail to the top and bottom pieces of each lantern just to give it a little extra oomph. And I also rounded the edges of each of these 2x2s that will be the side pieces of our lanterns. Then we move on to sanding every single piece. Oh, I couldn't feel my hand by the time I was done sanding. Definitely not my favorite activity. Now it's time to assemble the pieces, and at this point I'm feeling pretty confident in my ability to do this. I'll mark out each corner of the bottom piece so I can pre-drill for the screws, and this helps prevent the wood from splitting when we screw the pieces together. At this point, Mr. Wood came out to help. Yeah, he's kind of a show-off. I was literally winging it out here, not really measuring anything. Then Michael shows up with all these fancy measuring devices, and this is where my confidence starts to fade. He's basically doing exactly what I just did. So I didn't use all the fancy tools. No biggie, right? But I'm not giving up. I can do this. Let's do some pre-drilling. I can work a drill easy peasy. Okay, now that that's done, let's get these side pieces connected.
to the bottom of our lantern base. And yeah, let's just pretend that didn't just happen. Moving on. I think I just got demoted. Back to sanding, here I go. And this is pretty much where I let Michael take over. I'll just let him work his mad skills, and I'll supervise from the sidelines. Oh, smart. I didn't even think to pre-drill the posts. I guess that's why measuring comes in handy. All right, time to assemble take 2. We will be gluing all the pieces together as well as using screws to attach them, as this will give the lanterns a lot of extra strength. Have to admit, Michael is pretty handy. And meanwhile, in a different corner of the shop, I am diligently trying very hard to figure out how the hell to assemble these damn things. Yeah, I think I'll leave this to the pro. He had 3 of his posts attached before I could even get 1. All silliness aside, I am very grateful for Michael's willingness to humor me whenever I get these crazy DIY ideas in my head. He is definitely a very good sport. So here's what we have so far. It's starting to resemble the vision I had in my head for these lanterns. Now let's make the tops look just a little fancier, shall we? We are going to glue a smaller piece onto the top, forming a stair step of sorts, goodness. And using clamps, we'll secure this piece to the base, and then Michael will add a screw to the middle for extra hold. And this very top piece we will glue on and then attach it with a few finish nails. And we'll repeat this process with the smaller lantern as well. Now that the glue has completely set, we can finish the 2 smaller of the 3 lanterns by topping them with a decorative finial. For the largest of the 3 lanterns, we decided to get a smidge fancier, and so for this one we will top it with a cupola. And this process was a bit more tedious as all the parts are really small and a lot harder to work with. For all these small parts, we will glue them together with wood glue, hot glue, and finish nails. And this is what we have so far. Getting the angles just right on this took a little thinking power, some math skills, which I so do not have, and a lot of patience, which I also don't have. And here Michael is working on the stack part of the cupola, and these pieces are really small. I have no idea how he handles them so gracefully. I'd have parts flying all over the shop by now. Here Michael is just grinding down the edges on this to form a slight angle so it rests up on its base a little more snugly. Quite honestly, I think he just likes to use all his fancy tools. It's starting to come together. It's looking more like a cupola. Now we will start working on the rooftop, and we will adhere these pieces together using a very strong super glue combined with hot glue for an instant hold. Next, we top it off with a small square of wood and then sand off all the rough edges with a fine grit sandpaper. And for the final touch, we will attach an extra pole that we had in the shop, and this will finish off our cupola. Cupola, what a funny word. It is kind of fun to say though. Cupola, cupola, cupola. And here it is, all finished. So y'all, I think we did pretty darn good. Okay, well, Michael did pretty darn good. Good work, Mr. Wood. I just love them. And dang, we saved a whole bunch of money. All 3 of these cost us just under $70 to make versus the $349 for just one. Cheers to my DIY guy.
Guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. I had a good time. It was fun working out in the shop with Michael. We always have a lot of fun working out there together. We laugh and giggle a lot. One of these days I should just leave all of our banter in the video so you can hear us chatting back and forth instead of my probably very boring voiceovers. Our banter is probably far more entertaining. Some of it might not be so appropriate though. Anyway, so it was fun. I had a good time. Michael and I, we do work really well out in the shop together. We always have a good time because we complement each other in the way that I can come up with the designs and then he's really good at implementing them. It's just his engineering brain, I suppose. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to hang out with us today. And it just means a lot. So thank you for being here. I'm really looking forward to next week. We are finally going to get outside and do some playing around in the gardens. We're going to give my deck and my front porch patio area a little makeover and just kind of get everything looking pretty for, well, it's really late spring now as far as the months go, but you would never know that here because it has been so cold. Some days I wake up and still feel like it's winter. A couple mornings ago I woke up and there was a frost and a light layer of snow all over everything. And I was so sad too because I had just taken my lemon tree out. I had just taken it outside and it did get a little bit of frostbite, but I think it's gonna survive. I think it's gonna make it. So anyway, I have been rambling. So enough of that. I will let y'all go and I look forward to seeing you next week as we hang out in the gardens and do a little digging in the dirt together. Have a great rest of your week, y'all. See you next week. Bye.